types of Amazon ads.
That sounds good. So for those of you that are just joining, welcome Alana Terry, who is going to be going through paid ad campaigns and basically how you can tweak a few small things to make a big difference in your book sales and promotions. So thank you for being here. It is being recorded. So if you happen to come in late, make sure you check the recording. We store all of these on a Basecamp file. So if you don't have access to it for some reason, please email support@mydefiningmoments.com so we can get you hooked up with that. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Alana. Thank you so much for being here and welcome everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we dive into the Amazon ads, can you remind me, Melanie, I believe you sent me a link or an email for somebody's blurb. Can you remind me what I'm searching for so I can find it in my Gmail?
Okay, sure.
I think I see it actually.
Okay, if not, I can go back and pull it up. That way.
Revised book blurb for Samantha Jean's Rainbow Dream. Okay,
perfect. And
should we start with that?
Yeah, and if there's anything, by the way, you guys want to review, if you want us to look at something before, please make sure you send it at least 24 hours before the call and send that to support@mydefiningmoments.com. So Micah can get that to Suzanne or Alana. So Alana's here tonight. Suzanne will be back next week. They're going to alternate. That gives you guys a chance to get your ads set up and start watching them to see what's happening. And then you can evaluate. So those of you that have ads set up, if you want her to take a look at something and give you some perspective, then, make sure you have those pulled up and ready to go if you want, because we only have a short amount of time live to do those calls here today. Yeah. All right, perfect. Thank you.
All righty, let me see if I can share my screen. It looks like I can. So we will pull up this blurb. And is the author for Samantha Jean's Rainbow Dream here tonight?
Yes, that's AJ.
Cool.
I am, yes.
Hi. All righty.
Hi, Alana. Hi, everyone.
All right. So yeah, I remember we looked at this before and we have a new blurb now to look at. So an unexpected, fun-filled look into love, acceptance, the benefits of fruits and vegetables, and perseverance. I like that. I feel like that focuses a lot more on the kind of positive, and it gives I would say readers, but in this case, it's usually the parents or the prospective buyers, a very clear idea of the tone and flavor. So I think that's a really good hit. Will the young fruit and veggie hating Samantha Jean finally find the forever family she's been dreaming of? Yeah, no, I think this is great because we know that it's about love and acceptance based on what we see. We know that we're talking about fruits and vegetables. And now we know that we're talking about a girl who's looking for a forever family. So you kind of hit all 3 points that kind of define your book while still maintaining like a very positive feel. Okay. How will her new foster parents react when she blurts out yuck at the dinner table? Both fruit and veggie lovers and haters alike will enjoy following Samantha as Ari and Anya invent fun new ways to help her learn the benefits of a diet filled with colorful fruits and vegetables. Come cheer on Samantha Jean as she tries to win the 30-day Eat the Rainbow Challenge. Better yet, team up with the whole family and play along. Kids, parents, and teachers alike are excited to join in on this unique, fun-filled exploration into the colorful world of fruits and veggies. Yeah, I really like this. I think that it comes with a nice upbeat tone. And I think it really avoids that issue that we talked about before, right, where we didn't want to give off the idea that she had to like fruits and veggies to find her forever home.
Right. That's why I switched that one sentence. How will they react?
I think that's significantly improved.
Is it too long? I thought it might be too long and wordy.
No, I don't think it's too long. I like that you've broken it up into very short paragraphs because that's going to make it really easy. You didn't oversell the idea of, the people being able to join this challenge on their own, but it's mentioned there. I think you did a good job kind of fitting that in seamlessly. Kids, parents, and teachers alike are excited. Let me see if I could think of something slightly stronger. Kids, parents, and teachers alike. I think are excited is fine, but maybe if we did a verb instead, so maybe come together to join in on this unique fun-filled exploration, it's slightly more active. And it also reinforces that kind of sense of like there's a it feels like you have quite a bit of a community element here, not only with people being able to participate in the challenge, but with this theme of acceptance and family and stuff. So maybe something like that.
Okay, that actually works because I think I had mentioned that I am doing a workbook. I'm I'm trying to figure that out. And it is a challenge that I'm hoping whole schools could get involved in, getting each classroom to participate in a rainbow challenge. So that works very well. Thanks.
That's very cool. I mean, if that's the goal, you could even say kids, parents, and school administrators. Right now, I think teachers probably is better. It's just a little more succinct, but if you find that eventually in your pitching and stuff, you're talking more to the curriculum people or the library people or not directly the teachers, that's something you can keep in mind. Let me see if there's anything else that jumps out to me, but I'm not seeing anything. I think it's actually pretty cute, like using the ampersand instead of writing out and I think also adds, I don't know if you did that intentionally or we're just taking a shortcut.
I always do it with fruits and vegetables. That's the only place I do it, or fruits and veggies,
Yeah. It's kind of a cute, I don't know, it makes it feel a little bit fun.
Actually, I need to ask you also, and Melanie as well, because I do that in the subtitle. Is that okay to do that in a subtitle? Okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
The only thing I was going to throw out, AJ, is I'm just not a big fan of like cursive fonts or fonts. I find this really hard to read. I know this wouldn't appear in your book that way.
No.
But if you're planning to put this as a book description on the back of your book, or post it somewhere, I know you want it
Change the font.
I know you want it to be kind of fun, but I would maybe just make it more round or something and not like the scribble font, because I found it's really hard to read. Like I found myself having to slow down to understand the words because of
okay. I'll test out some other ones that still look playful but are easier to read. Okay, thanks for that feedback. Okay.
Yeah, the other things that I like that you're kind of creating, it feels almost like an invitation, come cheer her on. Let me see if there's other ones. It feels very inviting. So yeah, I think you did a great job and really nailed it. One thing you could think about, I mean, do you have any, do you have a background in nutrition or that
I
kind
don't
of stuff? Okay.
I've been, I've been studying it and doing all kinds of functional medicine, just summits, nothing that I have been following. And since I wrote the book, I have been following all of these noted pediatric dietitians on Instagram. So I've learned tremendous amount, but am I certified in any way? No. And all of my information is gathered from other people. And that is what I want to put in my workbook, not that I'm the authority. I know I'm supposed to be the authority, but it's gathered information. And I just want it out there for everybody to have access to really help them get on.
Then I would say that as it is great. If you happens to be a pediatric nutritionist or something, I'd be like, put that in there. But no, this feels great. Are you happy with it? Are there any parts of it that you want me to look over with an even more critical eye, or are you feeling?
No, I had studied lots of ones before we even got to this, just to see what resonated with me and what I liked. And I kind of followed that. And then you gave me the feedback about, not being wanting to be right. So I got rid of that. And, I just thought whatever you guys say, this was, I just wanted your feedback on it.
Yeah, no, I really think you did a great job.
The book though. So that's the other thing. Like, do I feel like I'm overselling? Because it's not, it's more fun with a few bits of information about what different colors do or what the fruits and vegetables do, but it's not excessively, it doesn't have a whole lot of information, nutrition information or anything like that. It's more of a fun way just to get her to try things.
That's exactly what I would have guessed it was based on the blurb. I think the blurb does a good job bringing out kind of that just sort of playful adventure side of it.
One last comment. Now, when you just reread my come cheer on Samantha Jean there, and then you had suggested I get rid of to put down here, come together again. So is that too many come cheer and come together? Is that redundant?
Let's see, kids, parents, and teachers alike.
Well, it would be down here. Come cheer
I
on
know,
Samantha.
yeah. Maybe kids, parents, teachers alike are invited to join in on this. That would be a way to not be redundant.
Okay. All right, I'll read Come Together and see it, and we're invited to.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, those are kind of similar, so it might be better to, reword it slightly differently. No, I think it's great. Good job.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your
Yeah.
help last week.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All righty. Switching gears then, last time we were on, we talked about the Amazon auto ads, and we can go ahead and continue on. There are lots of other types of Amazon ads. Before we do that, does anybody have questions about the auto ads, or any results if you set up your auto ads or anything like that? Otherwise, I'm going to be getting my
Yeah.
dashboard up and we can dive in.
Hi, Alana.
Hi there.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I set up my ads very recently, actually, like about 3 days ago. So I see some of the ads are getting some spending, some money, but there's no sales yet. So how long you think that we have to run these ads to see some results?
Yeah, so that's one of the things with Amazon ads is once you start them, some of them will start doing something right away, which is nice and exciting. And
Yeah.
some of them will never do anything. And some just kind of take a little bit of time to get rolling. So I would say it does take a little bit of patience. That's one thing. But do you have a feel for about how much you've spent already?
Yes, it's about, I think I set up about a couple of ads, about 5 ads, $5 each.
Mhm.
2 of them went out of budget.
Mhm.
Other 3 are kind of managing, but there's no any impressions. Only the out of budget
Okay.
2 ads are the ones that have some spending.
Okay. And are you getting any book sales from it?
No, no book
None.
sales, only I can see some spending on the ads, and it's been out of budget. I think it's about $19 have been already been spent.
Okay. So one thing, if you're doing, are your ads for the ebook or the paperback? Or are you doing ads for both?
Ebook.
Okay. Because if it was paperback, sometimes the paperback sales don't register as sales until the paperback ships. So sometimes there is a lag. For ebook sales, we would hope that you would have gotten at least some sales by now. So the next question then, do you have your dashboard open? Do you know how many clicks you've gotten?
Yes, actually I can see the impressions. There are a lot of impressions. You want me to share the screen and show you?
Sure.
Okay.
Melanie might needs to give you permission. I'm not sure. Or like I said, if you're just able to look up how many clicks you have, that would.
Okay. Yeah. Just give me a minute. So I can see.
Do you not see where the clicks are? I can show you real quick.
I can see about 235K ENP rates.
Okay. So that's a good sign too.
You want to try to share? Is it?
Let's do that. That would be a slightly
share?
easier. Mhm.
Yeah.
You want me to share the screen?
Yeah, if we could do that, I think that would help. Because if you're getting some page reads from it, then that's less troublesome. So just while you're getting your screen up, I'll kind of give my blanket advice for when it's time for an author to kind of worry if they're not getting any sales from their ads. If your ads are giving you very few impressions and you're really not getting many clicks, that's not anything to worry about. That's very, very common. Now, in your case, you are getting clicks because you are spending money and you're not getting sales. And so at that point, if you're to 50 clicks and no sales at all, that's where we would want to go and look at your sales page, see if there's something about the cover or the blurb that maybe might be keeping people from wanting to buy. But it also sounds like you have some income coming in from the page reads. So when you're able to, I should stop my screen share. And then when you're able to get yours up, we'll take a look and see.
Yeah. Are you able to see now?
I think it's working on coming up. It tells me
Okay.
that you're. Okay, yep.
So
All right.
the first one, JH Auto 125.
Mhm.
So you can see.
Okay.
so-
And then I'm going to walk you through a few things. Can you click on columns? Just go up about an inch.
yeah.
Yep. And then click customize columns.
Mhm.
And click on the one that says clicks. Kind of halfway down, a little lower than halfway down.
Yeah.
And let's also look at your cost per click.
Yeah.
Okay. And now and also the one about estimated Kindle edition. Yeah.
This one.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's look at some of these numbers. That will give us a more full picture. Okay. And now, okay, so you only have 19 clicks. So that's not troublesome to have 19 clicks and no sales. A decent average would be like 20 to 25 clicks per sale. So 19 clicks with no sales, that doesn't feel worrisome yet at all.
Okay.
Your cost per clicks are pretty high. So that's probably why we're all the way up to, close to $20 without sales. Can you tell me a little bit about your book and who you're targeting?
It's a romance book.
She's
Contemporary.
actually, she's a fiction writer, which is kind of
Oh,
fun.
okay.
Got several
So
books out there.
Do you
for
want to see the book?
fiction, for fiction, you actually could probably bid lower, and that's going to help you be a little bit more careful not to overspend. So those
Okay.
would be like for fiction, in most cases, you don't need to bid like $1. You could probably bid like 75 cents is probably a good place to start. And then
Okay.
if you see that that's profitable, then you could start increasing your bid. But I mean, if you wanted, you could even start at like 60 cents or so.
Okay.
That's what I would do. I would probably, so you have two options. You could go in and change your bids on these ads and just let them keep running. Your other option would be to start a few new ones, pause these, start a few new ones at a lower bid. So right now, I think your problem is just that your cost per click is pretty high, especially for fiction. So that's probably where I would focus, is slightly lower bids.
Mhm.
And then if we get to where you're getting 50 or 60 or 70 clicks and no sales at all, that's where we would want to look at your Amazon sales page and things like that to see if there's anything to tweak.
Okay. So normally it should be around how much is this cost per click should be?
Maybe like 50 or 60 cents. And so if you bid maybe around 60 or 70 cents, that will hopefully get you in closer to that range. Yep.
Okay. And for a children's book, so how much is the cost per click should be normally?
Let me do a really quick thing here to see what they suggest. I'm going to guess probably like similar for fiction, but increased by maybe 10 cents or so. So maybe instead of 60 or 70 cents, start with 70 or 80 cents.
Mhm.
Let me just see real quick what they recommend for certain keywords. So if I put in the keyword, what age range is this for? Is this a picture book?
Yes, it's a picture book
Okay.
for preschoolers.
Okay, children's picture book. Let me see what they suggest. Let's see. Okay, suggested bids aren't coming up. So yeah, I would say start in maybe like the 70 to 80 cent range and see how that goes for you.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, I don't think that you're to the point where you need to worry about anything at this point. Getting 19 clicks and no sales really still means that you're very well might be within a healthy average. So
Okay.
just need a little more data to figure
Right.
that out.
And do you know what this top of series is less than 5%?
Yeah, you can pretty much ignore that. That just means that Amazon gives you different options. You can be like, if you put me at the very top, if you put my ad at the top of the page, I'm willing to pay you extra and things like that. Those are things that once you've been doing some ads, you can play around with a little bit. Like I've been running ads for years and I don't mess with it. It's just, a little bit of extra bells and whistles that you can kind of choose to ignore.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alana.
Yeah, you're
Is
welcome.
there anything else you want to say?
I think we're good here, but yeah, let me know. Like I said, let me know if we're getting to like 50 clicks or more and still no sales. And
Okay.
then if that's the case, then we might want to look at your sales page because the Amazon ads, all they can do is get people to click. And so
Okay.
if the Amazon ads are getting clicks and you're still not selling, that's where we might need to look at your description and that sort of thing.
Awesome. So it will normally take about 2 to 3 weeks, right?
It can for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And especially if you restart with lower bids, it might take a little bit longer.
Okay.
But it's better to get to a point where you get the data without spending too much before you can make those kinds of decisions.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
All
Thank you,
righty.
Alana.
Yeah, of
Thank-
course. All right. I'm going to get my screen back up and
Mhm.
then we'll go back to what to do after you have made an auto ad. Okay. So as a quick reminder to even get to where we want to go, you'll log into KDP, you click the marketing tab, and then you choose that you want to run your ads in the Amazon.com, and that takes you to this area. When you go to create an ad, it's going to ask you what kind of ads you want to create. Let me get out of here so we can just go back a tiny bit. Okay, so choose your campaign type. What we're talking about are the sponsored products. Basically, I recommend everybody starts with sponsored products. I also recommend that nobody bother with lock screen ads. And sponsored brands can be cool once you have more than one book and you've had good experience with sponsored products. So basically, this isn't always. Lock screen ads is a never. This one in between is do it once you have a few books out and experience making a profit from your sponsored ads. So right now we're talking about the sponsored ads, and the types of sponsored ads that we're making can be divided into 3 camps. We can do auto ads, which is what we talked about last time, where all you do is you keep automatic targeting selected and Amazon will choose who it feels will be your best potential customers, and it will show your book to those people. They'll figure that out based on the categories your book is in, the keywords you've used, the also bots. So if Amazon is saying that people who love books by Dave Ramsey are buying your books, and they'll be more likely to promote your books on Dave Ramsey sales pages and things like that. So that's automatic ads. Next up, we're going to be talking about manual targeting. And this is where we get to tell Amazon what targets we want them to use in showing our ads. And so we're going to start by talking about keywords. There are a couple of other types of targets, but we're going to start our focus will be on keyword ads. So as a quick reminder, when you go to Amazon.com, and you type in something like books about keto diet, right? This is the keyword that I'm searching. Keto diet would be the keyword that I'm searching. And so your ad, so you can see here, these all say sponsored. This means that people have set up their ads just like what we're talking about now. And they show up right here at the top. This one up here is the sponsored brands, the one I told you, hold off until you have some experience in more than one book. But once you have experience in more than one book, these look really, really nice. So basically, when we're targeting by keyword, we are thinking about the terms that people are using to search Amazon, and we're selecting what keywords we want our books to be associated with. So to get it started, I always recommend, so for campaign names, sorry, drop it. That's too loud. I don't know if you can, she's got a squeaky toy. It's really annoying. All right. The campaign name, my recommendation is that you pick like an acronym for your book. So KD for keto diet, auto for I'm sorry, we're doing keyword this time. Keyword, and then what your bid's going to be. That's just a convention that I like to use so that I can go through and search and refine by my results. So maybe I can say, okay, how are all of my keyword ads doing, and so on. Portfolios, I think we've talked about, but holler if anybody wants a refresher. Start and end date, I almost always just start it now and leave the end date open. So next we're going to go to daily budget. For starting out, starting with $5 or $10 a day is perfect. And then you can increase if you're seeing good results. But I always like to start a little bit on the conservative side until I've seen that my ads make me money. All right, so here, we're not selecting automatic targeting like we did before. We're going to switch to manual targeting where we get to choose the targets. For all the ads that we create, we're going to stick with the dynamic bids down only, which is the option that allows Amazon to lower our bid when it saves us money, but it does not give Amazon the option to increase our bid. And then you have the two options here that we've talked about where you can put text on your ad, or you can have it as a standard ad without text. Let's just look so that we can see the difference. So when you look at somebody's carousel of sponsored ads, you'll notice that some of them are just, let's see. Okay, here we go. We always look for the sponsored. Some of them are just the cover, title, number of stars, price. Some of them have a little bit of text here too. Most of the time you're going to do just as well, if not better, by having no text. So it saves you time and the results can be slightly better. So my recommendation is no text. If you really want text, it's not going to kill your ad. But for now, let's just stick with the standard ad, which is the one where we don't need to worry about text. And next you're going to select your book. And if you have chosen standard ad, this also allows you to select more than one book. So if you have a book that's part of a series, like let's say you have 3 books about finances for single moms. If you wanted, you could add all of them in one ad. So like here's these 4 books are all in a series, so I can add all of them to this ad. All right, so now since we selected manual targeting, Amazon's going to give us the option to target by keyword or by product. And so we're going to talk about keyword targeting.
When you said you select the books, that's your book or the books that you're trying to associate with?
Yeah. These are just your books. So when you're, because you're logged on, this is connected to your KDP dashboard. So they know what books you have published. Yep.
I just thought I'd check. Thanks.
Yep. And okay, so we selected keyword targeting. Now we're going to go here to enter list. And before we start typing things in, I'm going to switch to default bid. Like we were just talking about, I recommend starting around the default bid that comes up as a suggested, and then you can raise it later on. The times that you would choose to raise it are if your ads really aren't getting a lot of impressions. But like I said, since I prefer to start conservatively, that's how I prefer to teach as well. Some categories, your default suggested bid will probably be more. You know, if you're doing books for entrepreneurs, that's a really competitive kind of field with people willing to pay more per click. So your suggested default might be more, but until it's proven to you that you need to bid more, I would stick around the default bid. Next up, you get to start entering in the keywords that you want to use. So kind of like what we did here, you put yourself into the shoes of your perfect reader and you ask yourself, what kind of terms are they using? So in this one, let's just say keto diet. So I type the term in right here, and then you'll see that Amazon is very, very helpful by suggesting a lot of other options. So how I like to do it is I add all of the keywords and then I just go and see what I don't want. I don't want to associate it with diet pills. So I'm probably not going to do diet pills. And everything else looks, oh, diet pills for weight loss, probably not going to do that. Everything else I'm going to stick with. One question that a lot of people have is how many keywords should I have? There's not really a minimum or a maximum. You can add up to 1,000. I definitely don't suggest that you add up to 1,000. That's way too many. It's too time consuming to find that many keywords. It's too time consuming to try to manage an ad with that many keywords. A sweet spot is probably about 1 to 3 dozen. If all you can find are 8 words, that's totally fine too. But in this case, I'm sure that there are going to be other keywords we could think of. So now let's try keto cookbook and see what comes up. And you'll see that lots of other keywords come up. So I'm going to add them all. I'm going to see if anything is worth taking out, but all of these look perfect for me. And this is also very interesting market research, because I can see a lot of people are searching for keto cookbook with pictures, right? And so that gives me information about what my readers want, and what, if my book has pictures in it, it's telling me that that's a selling point for this, so that I can emphasize it in my copy and things like that. I think somebody had their hand up. Did someone have a question?
I did. I noticed on yours is a little different. Mine had a sort by, and then it had an option for orders and click. So you know where it says like you have your bid, your match, so bid, filter by. I have a third option that gives me sort by, orders, or click. And I didn't notice it on your end.
Are you talking about kind of this page we're on, or are you talking about the page where you're looking at your results?
No, the first one, suggested.
Oh, for suggested.
Where we started,
Yeah.
Where it says or sort. Oh, okay, you do have it. So
yep. So what we did,
is it by order or by click?
For right now, I'm not using their suggested ones, and
Oh,
so I'm just going to enter list. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The suggested can also be a good place to start, though. The reason why I don't always go there is sometimes they recommend keywords that are just very, very broad and a little bit silly, like book. I don't think that using book as a keyword is the best use of anybody's time or money. So that's why in general, like the suggested can be useful. It can for sure give you a starting point. But I prefer to go here to enter list and then allow this kind of predictive text to give me the other suggestions. So this feels like a good number of keywords to me. We're probably to a little less than 2 dozen. For match type, I'm just going to keep all of these selected. This means that it doesn't have to be this exact phrase, right? Like this keyword is tasty keto cookbook. If somebody wanted to search for tasty keto cookbooks, which is plural, right? Because I've selected, just kind of a broad, basically I'm telling Amazon, you can interpret my keywords a little bit broadly, right? It does not have to be exactly these words in exactly this order with exactly this punctuation. So I just keep broad, phrase, and exact selected. I've given them my default bid. Okay, so I've come here and I've told them how much I want to bid for each keyword. And then I click the add keyword button. The other useful thing that can come up here are the suggested. So this is a really good indication that these are very expensive keywords, because all of the bids that Amazon is telling me are over $1. And so this is an indication that if I want to really see my ads take off, I eventually probably will need to bid more than 75 cents, which is the default. Let's talk about other types of keywords. So for sure, start by thinking about the words and phrases that people will use to search for your book. That's for sure number one. But remember, the more general your term is, the more competitive those keywords will be. So for example, like using romance as a keyword, that's going to be really, really, let's see how much they suggest. If I want to use romance as a keyword, let's just see what they tell me that I should be bidding. Oh, and now they're sticking with my default bid, which isn't useful. But keep that in mind. If you're using very broad phrases, your clicks are going to be more expensive because lots of authors are using those same broad phrases. So one way to find keywords that still work very, very well for you, but aren't quite as competitive as like your genre keywords, is to find the names of different authors in your category and use their names as keywords. So since I'm on this page, let's just stick with this. Keto Womack is this author. So all you need to do is find like one author who writes books similar to yours, go to their Amazon author page, and often what we'll see over in the sidebar, doesn't look like this one has it, but sometimes they're really, really useful. Oh, wait. I'm not on her author page, am I? Let me go back. Sometimes they're really, really useful, and they will show you books by authors. So authors who read this person also read books by this person. So let me try one more here. Let's see. Let's see this author real quick. So when you go to their author page, no, not doing it. Okay, sometimes though, when you go to the author page, you will see a note here that says people who read books by this author also read books by that author. So that's a good way to go. Or you can just do what I'm doing here. Type in the keywords that your readers will use, see which authors are kind of coming up first in those ranks. And then what we're going to do is put their names in here and do the same thing. See if any other terms come down as suggestions. This one doesn't, but I can still use that. So next up, let's see if Faith Gorski, when I type in this author's name, okay, you'll see other suggested keywords come up and I can just add them. So using author names as keywords is a good way to get a little more specific and to get cheaper clicks. It's also a way to get a little bit more into your subgenre, right? Like thousands of authors write books about exercise, right? But your books on exercise are maybe closer to like there's a huge range, right? Maybe your book on exercise is Pilates for postmenopausal women, and you can find a few other authors who have that same audience and target them. Those are going to be better keywords for you than just keywords like exercise or Pilates. Does anybody wants to offer up their genre and we can kind of build you a keyword list here? All righty. And I lost my chat. So until I get that, let me see, I could probably come up with it here. There's chat.
Alana, yeah, I
Yes.
can, like, you want to, so I am a romance author, so.
Okay. Could you give me in the chat, could you give me the link to one of your Amazon books as a starting point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be a good example. Like we can use romance as a keyword, but it is so broad. It is so general. It's going to be really expensive. And think about it. Like there are tons of romance readers who only read this subgenre of romance, right? So we really want to get a little more specific is kind of the bottom line takeaway.
Okay. I do have a recipe book as well. So
Whichever one would be easier and most useful for you,
okay.
we can do. Mhm.
Okay. Okay, hold on. I'll give you the romance one.
While we're pulling that up, I'll just give you a couple more kind of things to keep in mind with keywords.
Yeah.
Your category is always a good place to start, and other authors is a good place to start. I prefer those to targeting as the name of a book. There's certainly nothing wrong with targeting the name of a book. In some cases, the problem you might run into is there might be, a dozen books by the same name, and they might be vastly different. All right, see you, Nigel. I see that you gotta run. So that's why mostly for my keyword ads, I start with what are the search terms people are going to be using, and then I go to who are the authors that people are going to be searching. If you happen to know names of books and you just know that they're going to be a really good fit, then go ahead and throw them in there. In general, yeah, I think targeting by other authors is one I really like. And then once you have your book out, I would target yourself as well. That does a couple things. That means that people who are searching for you are more likely to find your book and not get kind of distracted by somebody else. So like if somebody's here, let's hope this works out in my favor. If they're here searching for my name, my hope is that they're going to see my ads, which they do, right? So here's one of my headline ads. Here's someone else's ad, and the rest of these ads are for my books. And that does a couple things. It means that if people are searching for me, it's easy for them to find me as opposed to getting distracted by someone else's book. And it also is some nice brand awareness because you can see like my covers are right here. People get, used to seeing them. All righty.
I put the link there.
Perfect. So let me get a feel for your book, and then we can build you some keywords. All righty. And I just want to look at kind of what categories you're in. City life, friendship fiction, holiday fiction. All right. So, and this is billionaire. Yeah, billionaire romance. Okay. So let's start with the genre, but I'm not going to start with romance. That's way too broad. So I'm going to start with billionaire romance, and you can see how many options show up. So I'm going to add them all. And then I'm just going to make sure that there's nothing in here that makes no sense. Like I think I'm going to take free out. I don't want people who are only looking for books for free. Next up, if I wanted to, I could start looking at the other authors that people are. So I have a couple ways. I could look at this explore similar books, and I could see what authors are kind of coming up regularly over here. I could start using some of those. The other thing that I could do is I'm going to go to your author page, and I am going to see customers also bought items by. And I'm just going to assume that most of these other authors are going to be good fits. Now, if I was going to take the time, I'd probably go to their page, take a look at their covers, make sure that, it was a pretty close match. And then I would just go ahead and start targeting them as well. So Lauren Wood, when I put in their name, lots of options that come up. So that's kind of the way that you compile keywords. You kind of have two options. You could do one ad with a lot of keywords. You could do one ad with targeting just one author. So maybe you want to target every single one of these authors. If you really like sifting through the data and you don't mind spending the time, then what you would do is you would make a different keyword ad targeting each of these authors and the suggested keywords that come up for them. If you're short on time or you want to, you're not super concerned about being a data purist, you could definitely add several. In general, I like to add like 3 to 5 author keywords, use 3 to 5 authors. So maybe in this case, we would add like 2 more and then run it. There's really not rules, which is the good news. And so, yeah, those are the 2 ways. I like using the genre and the search terms, and then I like using similar authors. And the only thing that you really want to keep in mind is getting more specific is better, which is why we're not doing a word like romance for yours. And then when we add the keywords, it's going to tell us what their suggested bid is. And this can be informative, like billionaire romance is fairly competitive. You can see they're suggesting bids in the $2 and $3 range. I still suggest starting kind of at the default, 75 or so. And then as you see, either your ads won't do anything, you just won't be getting enough impressions, in which case you'll want to increase these, you know, maybe by 2 or 3 cents every couple days. Or you'll see that your ads are doing well at the lower bid and you don't need to raise them at all. Those are kind of the two things to look out for. So that is targeting by keyword. How are we doing on time, Melanie? I could dive into also targeting by product, or we could save that for next time. Do we maybe want to just wrap up if anybody else has individual questions?
Sorry,
and if not,
I didn't know I was on mute. I forgot.
yeah, no problem.
Well, I think wherever you feel like there's a good breaking point, I feel like
Okay.
there's a couple of questions that coming through the chat.
Oh, good. Let me pull that back up because I think this is a good part to break because product targeting kind of becomes its own thing.
Right. Like AJ said, would you only use your name if you've written more than one book?
Not necessarily, you know, because let's say that I know that, you know, Allie Jean has a new book out. I don't know if that's the name you publish under, but you know, if I'm your coworker and I know that you've written a book, I might be searching for you, right? So yeah, even if you just have one book out, I would still go ahead and do that. It might not get a lot of traffic, but at the very least, it's kind of like claiming your stake. It's kind of like when people search the name, I want my ad to show up there.
And I think sometimes people are looking for our authors if they've heard about the book and they can't remember the name of the book, and they're, you know, so it's always good to have your own name as a keyword in your ads, paid ads.
Yep. Just for something fun, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's also good if you know that you have somebody that's a competitor, like even my mentors are like Tony Robbins and Mark Victor Hansen, Dean Graziosi, and we have a lot of clients that are similar, even though they're not really in the same genre. But a lot of times I can run targeted ads to people that are buying their stuff or that are looking at their stuff, and it makes them see my stuff. So that's another strategy of being able to do targeted ads on Amazon and Facebook.
Let me show you one reason why I love using myself as a target. One of them I already showed you, and that's when you search yourself and you can just see your ads there. But another reason is they're very, very effective. So these are all my ads from my fiction. The ACOS is basically a percentage. The lower your ACOS, the more money you're making. That's kind of all we need to know at the moment. So my average is 72%. When I only look at the ads where I'm targeting myself, usually, that ACOS, like my ads are basically twice as profitable when I'm running ads targeting myself. People are more likely to buy. I make a lot more money. So that's another reason. One is you want to make it really easy for people to find you. And two, if you know that people are actively already going through the trouble of searching for you, then you know that they are primed to buy your book. And so again, you want to just make that as easy as you can. These are probably my most effective type of ad, are keyword ads targeting myself. Another one that's really effective for me are the auto ads. Let's look at what my ACOS is for those. Okay, not really different than my average, but still a big chunk of my ad spend. So yeah, target yourself and you'll see similar results. People are way more likely to buy because they already know you enough to search for you on your book. So that means that they're primed to become a very good customer for you. Any other questions about keyword ads, where to find keywords? You can definitely run several keyword ads. You can do something that I will sometimes do would be like, I'm going to start one keyword ad just for the genre, and I'm going to do 3 keyword ads targeting different authors. I'm going to let them run. And then what can be fun is you can go and see what keywords are getting you the best results. And then you'll know in the future what type of keywords to keep using more of in your ads. So you get a lot of good data. So let me find you one of my keyword ads and I'll show you just how you can dig into the data. And then that'll probably get us to a good stop point. It looks like this one, Christian fiction keywords. So when I click on the ad and go over here to targeting, it's going to show me every keyword that I've entered. And then, then I can see how much I've spent on that keyword and how much I've made in sales from that keyword. And then again, it gives me my ACOS, which, the lower your ACOS, the higher you're profiting. You can see I chose to turn these two off because they're both very, very broad Christian fiction books. So you can always go in. You can see at some point I adjusted some of my bids, like this one, it wasn't quite as profitable as some of the keywords, so I just decreased the bid. You don't need to go overboard doing this. So you don't need to be looking at your keywords like every single day. The other thing you don't need to do is you don't need to worry about like a keyword. This keyword has spent $2. I'm not going to worry that I've spent $2 on this and haven't made any sales, right? Really only spend your time focusing on the keywords that have spent you the most money. And if it's not working for you, you can always pause that keyword. If it's kind of sort of working for you, but still not great, you can always lower your bid. So that's how you can kind of go and analyze your keywords. And then basically what you can do is compile a list of keywords that you know always work well for you. So like in this case, if I wanted to just look at my most profitable keywords here, I could say Christian mystery and suspense, Christian mystery books, Christian suspense, and Christian mystery and suspense, and Christian suspense and mystery. Those are my best keywords. So then I could create more ads using those types of words and similar words. So that's kind of the data that you get from your keyword ads, which can be really useful as well.
Alana, small question.
Yes.
How long do you run these ads to see the ACOS is favorable or not?
I would say once a keyword has spent at least $10, then you can go ahead and do this kind of analysis. If your keyword has spent less than $10, it's probably not worth deciding if it's a good keyword yet or not, because you just don't have enough data. So for me, it's not quite the question of how long do you let it run, because sometimes you can have a keyword that spends $10 in the first week. Sometimes it might take 3 months. But yeah, by the time an individual keyword has spent about $10, then you could go in here and decide if it's a keyword that's working well for you or not.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that covers keyword ads. And so maybe next time, again, if people have questions, if you want feedback on your sales pages or things, we can do that. And if not, there's one more type of ad here in the Amazon dashboard that we haven't talked about yet. So we can dive into that next.
That sounds great. And I just want to say congrats to Shrenika for actually taking action. I'm really proud of you. I know that it can feel intimidating when you're trying to like follow everything. And there's a lot of information, but I found that if you guys are watching it back, put it on your phone and play it back while you're actually setting it up. That seems to be easier at some point. And then you literally just go through step by step. It's very clear. I mean, Alana has great examples. And if you get stuck, you can always reach out. You can post on the Facebook page or just come back in the next 2 weeks as a follow-up. So get things set up, start looking at them. And know that if you're doing Amazon ads, you're not risking a lot because not all those ads are going to fire off. If you're doing Facebook ads, whatever budget you set, they will spend every dime that you put in there. So be careful if you want a daily budget or, however you set that up. And the same with BookBub ads, like you can kind of control your flow, but don't feel like you have to do everything, right? Pick one that you're most comfortable with. If your books are already out and they're on Amazon, it makes sense to start with Amazon. If you haven't released your book yet and you're watching this, then try to do some stuff on Facebook. If you're not ready to promote your book yet, you can use these same strategies to start actually promoting your course or your workshop or special events. But, remember that advertising, I've been doing advertising for 100 years. I've owned magazines and newspapers. Print and digital are no different. Anything you do long-term and consistent, you're going to get better results, right? Whether it's brushing your teeth, diet, exercise, you can't clean your house once and it stays clean forever. Believe me, I wish that was the case, right? But the truth is that, you have to just commit to something, and it's important to just start and take some action, and then you'll see the results. And once you do it, then that fear of doing it, you get over it, and then it becomes fun. So, you know, try to, if you're feeling this heaviness about it or anxiety, just take a deep breath, try to make it fun, and try to think of it as a challenge or a game. And this is the end result. And if you're playing a game, you're not as emotionally invested in the outcome, because it's not about how much money you're spending. Just like when you go to Vegas and you gamble, it's fun, even if you lose money. But, you know, this doesn't have to be the gamble. You actually have a science, you have a strategy, and you have people that have spent a lot of money to figure this out so that you don't have to. So take advantage of these calls. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Alana. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks. And the rest of you, take care, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for our live book launch for our authors, 9 a.m. Pacific, on our Defining Moments Facebook page. And everybody else, we'll see you back on Tuesday morning if you need help with that portion of your book. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Appreciate it. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.